In the name of Allah, the Merciful, praise be to Allah. Praise and peace be upon the seal of the prophets and messengers, Muhammad and his family and companions. Dear family, this is the context of today's speech. Family. My brothers, my sisters, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. By the will of Allah and His infinite grace, we are privileged yet again to enter this blessed month of Ramadan. Ramadan, as we all know, is a time of sacrifice and submission, but also a time of learning and growth. This month is more than just abstaining from food and drink. Fasting is about gaining a deeper awareness and mindfulness of ourselves and the world that we live in. By shifting our focus away from gratifying our stomach and looking more towards the satisfaction of our soul. Our fast is about being more present and aware, to see our blessings and reflect upon our strengths and deficiencies. Nobody is perfect, and so this month is an opportunity for us to learn and to grow, to look back and take account of ourselves, see where we have gone wrong and where we can improve ourselves. It is an opportunity to reflect on the concept of ihsan, which is the pursuit of perfection in our worship, via our belief in our actions. Specifically, this is a time to reflect on our ability to forgive, The Prophet, Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, has inspired us with this practice when he said to all his followers, God had ordered me to maintain ties with those who sever ties with me, and to give to those who deprive me, and to forgive those who oppresses me. Forgiveness is the kind of virtue this community is crying out for. Not just with those outside our community that harm us, but with each other as family. How can we as a community grow and flourish without being able to find the mercy in our hearts to forgive each other, to embrace the failings and the wrongs of each other, as well as ourselves, to see that there is a higher station to reach that allows us to see past the personal and to see the forgiveness inherent to our faith? It is only then that I see our community truly progressing from the condition we find ourselves in, a condition characterized by many challenges. And these challenges are broad and far-reaching. There should be no doubt in anyone's mind that the Muslim community, both in Australia and around the world, is facing a time of unprecedented difficulty. We must confront a narrative that seeks to undermine both our place in the wider Australian identity and our sense of agency as Australian Muslims. It has stripped us of our voice, forcing us to condemn, forcing us to apologize for the action that had nothing to do with us, killing us by association. It has dehumanized, it has demonized, and has diminished, more importantly, the goodwill of the Australian public towards the Australian community. It has promoted the vilification and harassment of Muslims to the point where we had many people fearing for their safety on public transport. This is why I say, how is that acceptable in a country such as Australia? And this is not exclusive to any political party in Australia or any one politician. This manipulation of a minority, this impingement of our civil liberties, had been consistent across the spectrum and its clear exploitation of a situation in which we find ourselves manipulated and largely struggling to resist. To what end? To what end, though, has this narrative been taken up? We are reminded on a daily basis that the security of this nation and its communities is imperative and at the forefront of this government's agenda. However, the measures taken for this protection calls into question the motivation behind the rhetoric. This type of rhetoric is dismantling the social fabric of this country. It reeks of political opportunism and betrays the citizens of this country by serving to further marginalise those already marginalised and alienating those who have engaged with government. In the wake of this approach, we remain, having to deal with policies and narratives that leave significant damage behind. It has aggravated us and divided us, pushing the extremities of our society to the centre of public discourse, constructing public opinion that leaves important issues such as education, employment, homelessness, environment, women, families, and pensioners, to name a few, fending for themselves on the fringe. But it is in these times that we must return to the virtues of this holy month, which is meant to enshrine of forgiveness, mercy, and compassion, of knowing each other's pain, knowing that we face largely the same challenges, and finding strength in the potential to face them together as a family. This is the time where we need to stand together. This is not a Muslim family. This is not a Christian family. This is not a Jewish family. This is a human family that must work together to seek a better world, not only for now, but for the future. We must not allow the hijacking of the qualities that makes us human by giving others the platform and the justification to those who intend to harm us. I encourage you to support and embrace the notion of getting to know one another, in treating each other with respect, with dignity, and in focusing on what binds us together as humans and not on our differences. It is without these qualities that we fall into the traps set for us as a community, into divisions and behind closed doors, pitted against each other for the benefit of outsiders and for our continuous detriment. There is great power in compassion, in the ability to empathise with your brothers and sisters. It allows you to see past the social construct that have, in the past, shaped the way we interact and work with each other, and to see the person on the other end, see their struggles, see their pain. This current climate of fear is straining our relationship with fellow Australians and providing enormous opportunities for those who spread Islamophobic messages. More than ever, we are seeing voices grow louder and stronger in opposition to our most fundamental beliefs as Muslims. From the smear campaigns of the halal food industry, to increased reports of verbal and physical attacks on veiled Muslim women. The current discourse surrounding our community is producing angst and fear amongst non-Muslims and the wider Australian public. The fear-mongering strategy being employed are having a devastating impact on relationships between communities throughout Australia, jeopardising years of hard work by organisations and individuals within and outside of the Muslim community. We now face a landscape that has in sections been actively turned against us, which calls into question our identity as Australian Muslims. We hope that this is not about easy political point scoring. I truly hope. But it's deeply disappointing to witness. Our community should not have to outline and justify our identity at every turn. at every crisis and every national discussion. And that should be a given. The fact that I am here, having to address this, is already putting us on the back foot, leaving us only further alienated. However, it is our very identity as Australian Muslims that enables us to continue to work towards a better community and a better Australia. Despite the current political and social climate, we are making progress through our contributions of various projects and initiatives. Our community has grown and has shown great resilience and courage in its willingness to continue building and contributing to wider Australia. In spite of the obstacles we face, and we at the LMA are proud to be contributing our part to an overall building process within our community. We are currently in the planning stages of an aged care facility to service our elderly. Also, the second National Open Mosque Day and of a series of youth summits, as well as rolling out the Aspire Role Model program to more public and private schools. We continue to strive to present young Australian Muslims with opportunities to engage, whether it is via sporting programs, camps, workshops, Islamic classes and conferences. Such initiatives empower young Australian Muslims to embrace their identity and develop skills and knowledge that would allow them to become greater contributors to Australian society and to the Muslim community. But despite the community efforts that we engage in, our work as Australian Muslims will not be complete overnight. Rather, it is a long process of commitment and tenacity that is required to overcome the hurdles we will continue to face. Finding the equilibrium of our identity as Australian Muslims becomes more complex, particularly when our beliefs as Muslims are repeatedly criticised and mocked. But we must believe that as a united community, we will overcome the struggle, whether it is our time or in our children's time. Abraham Lincoln once said, "Do I not destroy my enemies? Do I not destroy my enemies when I make friends of them?" And there is no better time than now to enact those words, to use this blessed month to make friends of those around us, to give each other the opportunity to get to know one another in friendship, especially those who see us as enemy. As we continue to observe fast, let us not only deny ourselves food, but let us deprive ourselves from judgment of one another. Let us starve ourselves from negativity towards each other. And above all, let us deprive our hearts and minds from any hate that we carry towards those like us and those that are different to us. This month is a reminder that we are all battling something, that you and I have obstacles to overcome. So let us help each other in those difficult times and be mindful of our struggles and express compassion towards each other. Individually, you may have some strength, but together as a united community, we possess power to make real change. I ask you to remember those who are oppressed and suffering around the world. Let us remember them and keep them in our supplications. They should not be forgotten. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our fast and good deeds. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless this family and bless this nation, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has willed for us to all be part of this nation. A nation that no one can truly measure what it has to offer unless that is provided to us one day goes missing. Thank you, my family, for attending this iftar night. Thank you all for joining us in this special evening. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the Great to keep this family sound, safe, and secure. Thank you very much.